Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. You all know who that is, and she's an inch shorter than me in height. So barefoot we're able to look each other straight in the eye. Now the usual question is, if I was super wealthy, would I date her? Nope. The men that she'd been with, including her present boyfriend, cum partner, they've all been taller than her, even though her present boyfriend, he's about an inch taller than me. Also, they were going to get engaged, but within 1 minute of going into therapy, he just stood up and left the room, as he'd had enough. So the old adage there, if you see a beautiful woman and she's on her own, then there's some guy out there who is sick and tired of putting up with her shit. Now, whether he's still with Courtney, I don't know. But as for dating, all the men that she's been with have all been in the show business profession. So even if I was a multi-billionaire like Tony Stark, she probably wouldn't look at me because that's not the kind of man that she's attracted to. So I wouldn't even bother dating her or chatting up or anything like that. Though in a social event, it would be interesting to see what Courtney there looks like in real life in the flesh. So that's as close to her that I'd probably want to get. Anyway, as she's not engaged to the Ulster musician who she was in a relationship with, she's not the only one who's not been engaged, because I started this channel a long time ago to see what effect MGTOW is having around the world, and there could be some things which are now starting to come into fruition. Because the first thing I found is this. Now, Botswana in the ancient past had a multitude of volcanoes, and that is the source of diamonds. But as you can see, this was done on the 5th of February this year, Botswana's diamond glut. It says the Treasury of Botswana, a diamond inventory stood at 12 million carats in December, nearly double the government's 16.5 carat target. In other words, they've got twice as many diamonds as what they usually have. Now, diamonds are used in two things. One is industry, that's a given, and the other is naturally in jewellery, noticeably engagement rings and necklaces, etc. Now, in France 24, they've also warned about it. Botswana wants diamond oversupply to hit growth. Botswana is sitting on nearly double its permitted diamond stockpile as weak prices and rising competition from hot lab-grown stones curb demand. Well, there's another view you could take on that. Diamonds are used in engagement rings, so if no guy is going to buy an engagement ring, then that's a diamonds which are not going into it. You multiply that one guy by several million, and you could see that a glut of diamonds is not being taken up by the jewellery industry. The diamonds in Botswana, a large percent of them are industrial diamonds, but a small percent of them are jewellery diamonds. The better quality ones are in West Africa, but Botswana is one of the major producers of diamonds in the world. Now it says the cash-strapped African country, the world's second largest diamond producer after Russia, relies on the gem for about a third of its GDP. It held 12 million carats in December, far above the 6.5 million carats government ceiling. Now, I found this, Solitaire, this a diamond publication. Natural diamond production to remain at a multi-decade low in 2026. But the thing what was interesting was this. The all-time peak of diamonds was 2005. Then, as you can see, there was a sharp drop. Now, what happened in 2005? We were halfway through third wave feminism in 2005, as you can see. Then the I don't need no man and the guys not wanting to buy engagement rings, you saw a drop. Then it lifted up a little bit, and then 2007 it spiked, but notice in 2017 it spiked again, and then it precipitously dropped. Now, what went on in 2017? This went on in 2017. Feminism in 2017 was defined a massive surge in global activism driven by resistance to anti-women rhetoric and the viral explosion of the MeToo movement. Key movements including 700 worldwide march in January and campaign, and then President Trump got elected first term. This is one of the largest single-day protests in American history. So, going back to this, guys seeing how women were like that. So guys said, fuck it, I'm not going with them. I don't want to be married to a woman like that. And notice how the diamond produced dropped. Then a little bit of a surge, and it dropped again and just crept up, but it's going down, down, down. Now, I found this to vary. Now, the only bit which is relevant to this video, where is it? Why diamond's not selling? Here we go. Demographic change and cultural shifts mean there are significantly less marriages taking place, and couples who do get betrothed place less value on diamonds as an essential part of the ceremony. But that bit is the key part of this whole article. That's the only thing I could find in articles about the glut of diamonds. So it shows that this, get rid of that, is one of the main reasons why diamonds has a surge, as in guys are not wanting to get married, they're not wanting to get engaged, which means they're not buying a diamond ring for a woman because she's an activist, she's infected with toxic feminism, and this is the result the fall of diamond produces, which is affecting Botswana, as they stood on, so they got 12 million carats, double what they usually have. Now that's one of the effects that MGTOW could be having. The other is more serious. I've found this. America is running out of teenagers. Universities are worried. And this is a link to an article about it. These are just the comments. Looking forward to many universities converting to houses. Not all, but a lot of them. Now, it's not a, what would you say, coming by the surprise, because the Texas A&M University system, they've already predicted what's going to happen. Projected the demographic cliff, 18-year-olds and high school graduates. Building on the previous blog post, we continue our spring series of enrollment trends in higher education. If you drop down, as you can see the first visualization below, the recent single year of estimates from the US Census Bureau show 4.36 million 18-year-old Americans in America in 2023. While this number presents an increase of 3.6% from 2015, estimated at 4.21 million, the 2023 total number of 18-year-olds in America is a 5.3% decrease from the peak of 2007. Now, if you go back to that, peak demand. Second, even though it was third wave feminism, having children, but MGTOW started to kick in. Lots of people not bothering to get married, guys think the juice isn't worth to squeeze. A little bit, going back to that. 3.6 increase in 2015. So 2015 is there. The children getting born, getting married, etc. Then 2017 comes along, boom, you get this. Feminism, a massive increase in activism. Guys think, fuck this, I'm not going to get married to her. So the number of engagement rings drops. He's not bothering with her, so the number of children being dropped. That when this 2015 4.2 million, the 2023 total a decrease of 5.3, which happened in that. Now, of course, the birth rate was not there. The birth rate was here, but you've got to maintain the number of students being born, which affected this and this. It's a long drawn out collapse, you could say. Well, look at the projection on the side of the chart, not one but two demographic cliffs for 18-year-olds from the 2023 projections. From the Census Bureau, the first drop of approximately 7.4% projected to occur between this year and 2030, when 52% of American women will be were single and childless and too old to have children. Now, going back to that, if a child was born in 2000, which is third wave feminism, then in the late teens college era, around about 2017, 2020. But you can see the number they're usually getting engaged, even though it might not last. But the engagement ring has dropped and the number of diamonds required has dropped. It's all sort of linked together, the various dots, if you just take a step back and look at it in a logical way. Now, the second visualization shows that Texas will likely not be immune to decreasing population of 18-year-old residents in the next decade, so due to the decline in births discussed above. If we focus on the window 20 to 33, the estimated number of 18-year-old Texan Americans will have to increase by 33% between 2000 to 433, but at least Texans are having children, because Texas is generally a conservative state. But we drop down, estimated, projected. See, there's the wall 2030, and there's a number of projections from 17. That's when 52% of American women will be single and childless. And then we go on, and it'll drop down, down, down. Now, this is having a profound effect on American colleges. I found this was done January the 8th last year. The looming demographic cliff, fewer college students and ultimately fewer graduates. It's already having an effect. The Iowa Wesleyan University, a 181-year-old college, has closed in 2023, and all the fittings and that has been sold off. When the college closes, all the things that are mentioned of the past 4 years, a lot of people's lives are sold in highest bidders. The demographic cliff with big implications in the American economy. The demographic cliff has been predicted ever since America started having fewer babies with the advent of the Great Recession around the end of 2007. Once again, we drop back to that. The people not buying engagement rings means a lot of diamonds not being sold. The fall in birth rate has not recovered since, except for a slight blip in the COVID pandemic, according to the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention. Demographics will finally arrive nationwide in the fall of the year. That's when recruiting officers will begin to confront the long-anticipated drop-off in the number of applicants from among the next class of high school seniors. So as the number of Americans get lower, fall of teenagers, and that, then there's fewer American teenagers going to school, and even fewer going to college, and even fewer entering the American workforce. It says the impact of this is an economic decline. As fresh data emerges, the outlook is only going to get worse. An analysis by the higher education consulting from Ruffalo, Noel Levitz, using the latest affordable figures, now projects another drop in the number of 18-year-olds beginning in 2033, 3 years after the 52% of women are single and childless after a brief uptick. By 2039, 2040, the estimate shows there will be likely 650,000 or 15% fewer of them per year than there were now. So it's all starting to roll into an avalanche. The host of demographic factors. The falling number of 18-year-olds is compounded by other issues, including a sharp drop in the proportion of Americans in the labour market, particularly baby boomers who retired early and men derailed by substance abuse and incarnation. The proportion of men 20 years and older in the workforce has declined around 76% since the start of the Great Recession to around 70% today. But all those guys in work, they're only, if they're smart, they're working for themselves and are not bothering with women, because going back, 2017 was the start of women and activism and number of rings being sold. I think I'm on the 20-minute now, so I'll have to start wrapping it up. It's a dotted picture of what's really going on, but this could be the sort of MGTOW effect. It's affecting the Botswana diamond industry, and the production of diamonds is at multi-decade low. Feminism has stuck its oar in, and it's not helped, because I don't need no men, and they're not bothering with guys because they think guys are trash. Guys are not bothering buying engagement ring because they don't want to be with a woman like that. And there's significantly less marriages taking place or the fall of engagement rings. And as also a result, America's running out of teenagers because Americans are not having children because women have become so toxic and picky. There's a college decline, and the result, American colleges are starting to close down because there's no students, and it's not economically viable for them to stay open. So, all of those of you who are in America, in your hometown, if there's any jewellery shops, to have a look to see if they're selling engagement rings. I've had a look in Warrington. There's a few jewellery shops going, but I don't see many engagement rings. It's just the bracelets and necklaces and things like that. So it seems to be this is one of the MGTOW effects that I've reported on over the last few years that MGTOW is having on the economy in general. So you tell me. Right, I think I'm well over 30 minutes now. So you know the routine, people. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, that's it from this one. Bye-bye.